Hello, it's me, your local non-binary witch. I'm going to take you back in time to 1983. So you got to remember this is a time before the internet and before a lot of other things happened. I was about 15 and my best friend had just come out as gay, and I'd been to see the movie Gandhi. And I can't tell you which of these was more important, probably the best friend coming out as gay, but it led to a cascade of uncertainty, because at the time, I was a fundamentalist Christian. Now, the thing about fundamentalist Christianity is that it peddles certainty. You might not like the certainty, but you think that everything's cut and dried, that the Bible's inerrant and all this other rubbish, and that the universe is ordered in the way that's described by that particular worldview. So when this certainty, in order to have this certainty, you have to live in something smaller of your own devising, as the late great Douglas Adams put it. So when something breaks into that certainty and undermines it, it can be a very powerful force to shatter that worldview. And that's what happened to me, because the Christians I knew said that my best friend was going to hell, and I knew he definitely wasn't. And they also said that all the lovely Hindus and Muslims and Sikhs and all the other religions were going to hell too. And I'm like, well, that's their worldview. They're devoted to God just as much as these Christians are. So, like, why should they go to hell? That's not right. And Christians I knew said, oh, well, anybody who's heard the gospel and rejected it, that's tough. They're going to go down there. And I just thought, well, that can't be right. It's just, And so one fine day, standing in the front garden of my parents' house in Southampton in England, under a very lovely birch tree that they'd rescued from the path of the M27 motorway when it was being built, I decided that I was an atheist. And I couldn't sort of sit on the fence and be like, oh yeah, I'm kind of vaguely agnostic, or I'm like a progressive Christian or whatever. I kind of had to flip from one certainty to another certainty. Now, later on, that certainty in my atheist worldview was undermined by all kinds of other things. And now I occupy a pleasantly ambivalent space. But I do think that one of the things that leads us to change spiritual paths is an outbreak of something or an inrush that causes us to change our worldview, and undermines and shatters the certainty that we thought we had. So I think that's really important, that something breaks in upon your worldview and destroys it, and then you have to look around for a new one. So I think there's hope that people who are trapped in these fundamentalist worldviews are obviously going to be constantly bombarded with things that challenge their certainties, because there are gay people, there are LGBT people, there are millions of other people devoted to other religions, and all of these things should challenge their fundamentalist mindset. How we get them to not flip from one fundamentalism to another is an interesting one, and I think that the way it happened to me was a gradual process of discovering spirituality and realizing that I needed some sort of spirituality in my life. But I didn't want to go back to any sort of fundamentalist mindset. So more on other aspects of my spiritual journey in future videos. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for the publication of my new book, Changing Paths, which is all about this topic. So take care out there, and remember, undermine those certainties. Take care now. Bye.